Okay, we were very pleased. We remember we were all thrilled in the gender group when you became the first female president. So would you like to tell us a bit about how you came to be president and what were your aims when you did?
My first issue was through the gender group. In 1997, I went to the Maynooth conference in Ireland, and I submitted my paper, one of my first papers, on Margaret Haley, the woman teacher union leader activist in Chicago, who I would write a biography of. I submitted the paper to ISHE, and Ruth, you wrote me privately and said, no, you should come to the gender group a day earlier. So I changed my plans and went to the gender group earlier and was introduced to ISHE that way. Then continued to go to ISHE, and about 12 years later was elected to the executive committee. And Frank Simon, who was then president, was very insistent about how it was time to have a woman president. And he asked me if I would be president, and I said, yes, I would. And I was very honored. It was a wonderful 3 years of being president of ISHE. I tried to expand some of our international connections outside of Europe. This was in a time we were just beginning to do some digital work. It was later picked up by other presidents where digital activities were easier to access. But I did try and sort of update the website and get us doing some more digital kind of communications. And I, of course, supported the gender group and the work that was going on with the women in the gender group. And then after me, Eckhart Fuchs became president, and then Rebecca Rogers, who was also a very active member of the gender group, published in one of the books that you spoke about earlier. So Rebecca and I have often talked about the work that we do. We're still doing work related to gender and the significance of the gender group. It's been great. It was my way into ISHE for many of us.
Yes, it has been for a lot of us. Yeah. Do you feel, as president, that it was obvious to you that you were the first woman president, that you could make a difference in that? I mean, we'd had excellent presidents before, but being a woman, was it very different?
Yes, and sometimes it was almost the essential idea that I was a woman. So I remember the conference in San Luis Potosi, standing in the lobby there, and young women coming up to me to shake my hand and to have a picture taken with me, often speaking in languages I didn't understand, but they knew I was president, and they felt that. They were proud of that and happy and wanted to be seen with me and to congratulate me. That was a really wonderful feeling. Yeah.
Yes, because I know when I started at ISHE, it was a very masculine-dominated conference every year, but wonderful men, but it was lovely to see more and more women coming forward. I know you did a lot with young scholars as well, didn't you? Do you want to say something about that?
I encouraged a lot of the work with the graduate students, which we now have as a central part of ISHE. I furthered those initiatives, and just talking with younger scholars and encouraging what they did. Frank Simon and other presidents had done that as well, yes. But that was a very important priority for me. Yeah.
And the international dimension, you've already mentioned it, but we've become wider, haven't we? Because it's been in the last, well, the first time we went outside Europe, in fact, was 1999 when we went to Australia. But this century, we've been to South America 3 times. Mm-hmm. And we haven't been to Asia yet.
We're working on it, I believe. We've always been working on it.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been to South America, we were in Mexico, we were in the United States twice.
Yes.
And originally, when I first got involved with ISHE in the early years, it was mostly Northern European, or European. And now it's expanded in membership, in focus. I just came from a terrific session about research on India, history of education in India. We also did some, under my initiative and with following presidents, we did some of sort of workshops in other countries. We did a workshop, particularly in Calcutta, India, that became a book that we published, an edited book, with the effort of trying to encourage history of education in countries in which history of education did not maybe have a society or was not active as a field.
Yeah. I know Rebecca, who is multilingual herself, has encouraged that a great deal. Yeah, how do you feel about the fact that we now really do have more than one language being spoken?
As a monolinguist American, it's terrific, and it's a great challenge for my American colleagues. I'm always telling them that when they come to ISHE, they're going to go to a session where there may be a paper presented in a language they don't understand, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing, you know, because we learn, and they need to present in ways to people who may not understand the American context. That's the good thing of globalization.
Yes, yeah. And in what way do you envisage the sort of gender group itself now? Now everything has changed a great deal, and ideas for going forward. I mean,
but the transnational emphasis is really interesting, and I remember I watched that start in Istanbul and farther on. Bringing transnational studies into gender analysis is really fascinating, interesting, and so many of us have taken that on in really great ways.
Although all the way through we've had a lot of fresh approaches, haven't we, which I've first come across every time within the gender group, and the use of different sources, a lot of visual imagery, etc. And it is a way, isn't it? Because if you're trying to bring forward people who've not been there, what do you see as in ISHE? What do you think? You're a leader in ISHE, and you're a woman leader in ISHE. How do you see ISHE going forward?
The membership of ISHE is now probably half male, half female, which is unusual when you think about the early years.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's come gradual, but that's where we are now. And so I personally debate sometimes if we do need a gender working group. And then the most recent example of when we stopped the gender working group, and some sessions you go to where gender is still not a question of analysis. Bothers me and makes me think, well, we really still need to be here as a force emphasizing gender. There are other special working groups that focus on other specific issues as well. We now have 6 or 7 of them. So I think that's important, because people come into ISHE and they have particular research interests that they want to follow, just as we did with gender, and then make friends with people, meet in pre-conferences and do specific projects together.
And that's really important, isn't it?
It's really important for making connections and furthering research ideas.
The difficulty is getting to all the different sessions.
We've gotten so big now, it's hard to get to all the sessions you want to go to. But I think that's a good problem to have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.